Okay. Oh, yep, yeah. It's time. It's time. You know what it's time for? It's time for Lil Lum's helpful art tips. Yeah! Now, you might have noticed that I am not in the usual studio. You've only seen my studio like twice before, so it's not like you would notice. But right now, over here at Lil Lum's, we're in transition. And the new studio is going to be right here. This is where all the magic will happen. The magic moved from actually up right above there, and now the magic has moved down here somehow. So, anybody with us right now?
It says, "What's up?
What's up? Yeah!" The acoustics are great down here too.
Pugs for Life, Kyle Horta, and
Pugs
Helms Twin are also here.
Kyle and who else?
Helms Twin.
Helms Twin. Okay, guys, glad you're here. I wanted to give you some quick tips right now, especially for those of you in AP Studio illustration classes. I wanted to let you know that there are some ways that you can take your drawing from prelim to final product, and that's what we're going to talk about. So, taking off my dad Crocs because my feet are a little warm right now, and I got wool socks on, so everything's fine. It's cold out there today, isn't it?
It's
Wacky.
snowing.
It is snowing. Okay, so a couple things. I don't know. Hey, do you guys have one of these? It's a lap desk. These are handy because they give you a better angle. Flat on the surface sometimes, not so great.
It's not good.
It's not good. It's not good for your connect. You get a crick in your connect. A crick.
Kyle says, "I'm definitely in AP Studio."
Kyle, you are in AP Studio French Toast, I believe.
And also, he said,
AP
"I got
French
up
Toast?
at 8:45 this morning."
Well done, my son. Well done.
Also, Joe Biz 2OP is here.
Joe Biz?
Yeah.
I don't.
And
What's
Helena
up,
said,
Joe Biz?
"Joe, what's up, man?" And he said, "Hiya, Helena."
Hiya.
I'm assuming that they know each other.
That's good.
And your mother is here.
My mom's here?
Valerie McCallum.
V McCallum 56.
She says hi.
She's on the Instas. That's great. All right, so listen. Here's the deal. We're sheltered in place, and we need to figure out what the supplies we can use are and how to use them. So I thought, hey, most of you have printer paper, right? So you've probably been working with some of this, and I think it's a fine thing to use for your finished piece. So grab yourself some printer paper. I happen to have 8.5 by 11 and 11 by 17 because I am a paper fanatic. Also, if
Apparently Joe Biz is Joe B.
Joe B? Hey, Joe B. Joe Biz.
I feel like I should know who that is, but I don't.
That's okay.
Unfortunate.
That's okay. It's okay.
Kyle said he had to go pick up a 3D printer from Burek. That's why he was up so early.
Kyle, I love what you just said. I love that. That's fantastic.
Doodler Skadoodler also joined us.
Thank goodness I have my own 3D printer at home if I need to make things. Am I not? Is that okay? All right. Yeah, no, it's my personal one. Okay, so I've got the printer paper here, and you probably have a prelim. The prelim, I gave guidelines. It should be about half the size of what you were doing for your final. Where did I put? Oh, yeah. Okay, so I got a great pencil from Teaching Mart. Not sponsored. Not sponsored. Okay.
It's just a random pencil.
So when I'm doing prelims, and you guys have already done the prelim, but usually I'm kind of working at about half size. Okay, this is a nice size for me to work in a prelim. It gives me a good boundary that I can scale up pretty good, especially if I'm going to go to something like 11 by 17, which, incidentally, is the size that a standard comic book page is at. Is it 200%? I'll check my facts and correct myself later.
Kyle says, "I will be returning to my 10:45 wake-up time tomorrow."
Oh, Kyle, that's disappointing. But stay healthy. All right. So moving from prelim, you somehow have to scale up your drawing, okay? And there's a couple of ways to do that. So I just wanted to show you a grid technique first that you could use. So say this is your prelim right here, and you need to scale up. What do? Well, pretty much anything can be a straight edge, and we're going to need a little bit of a straight edge. So I'm going to grab my keyboard from the computer, and I'm just going to use this as my straight edge, okay? So I'm going to align it, and I'm going to make a little crisscross here.
Corner to corner.
Corner to corner, okay? Doesn't matter what the format is, you're just doing an X. Corner to corner. All right. So now I actually have a center point, both horizontally and vertically. And all I'm going to do is I can eyeball this. If you're anxious about it, right? If you're anxious about the grid, you could kind of fold it and make a mark. Like, here's what I would do. I would just be like, boop, just a little crease right there. And then I know, and the same thing over here. I don't fold the whole thing. I just give a little boop at the top. And now I can connect those dots with my pretend straight edge, like this, like right here. Okay, that's kind of hard to see for you guys, but it's because I'm righty. All right, so now I have my vertical division. This one I'm just going to eyeball because I'm good like that. All right, so I have X and a plus. Now, the next thing is I'm going to add angle points, basically make a diamond, okay? So it's X plus diamond. Oh, Lord.
Oh, don't do that.
Please help me with my paper management. All right.
Melissa2649 joined us.
Hello, Melissa. Okay, so that's the left side of the diamond. Here we go. Such a perfectionist. Right side of the diamond. Bottom right side.
Look at the concentration on
There's
this
a lot of
guy's
concentration
face.
here. It's the problem with doing art, friends. It's a meditative act. You gotta focus. I have a hard time. I think I have a hard time talking and making art at the same time. All right, so X plus and diamond. A poor connection.
Oh, there we go.
We're literally feet away from the router. Okay, now I'm going to connect the two center points here and here with a horizontal line. You're like,
All the
Mr.
way through.
McCallum, this is a lot of lines. Why are you making me do so much work? Well, it's life is work, friends. Life is work. And work is life, so get used to it.
And there it is. You heard it from Little Lump.
That's literally my only piece of advice. It's my only truism. Okay. This, my friends, is the grid in its entirety. I didn't have to measure anything, really, except for maybe my little fold, but you can barely tell that there's a fold there. You wouldn't know it. So you didn't wreck anything. And now I have something I can scale to the next size. Now, I'm not going to do the full thing, but say this is my prelim. If I want to increase the size to the paper, I literally go through the same process, and I go back through and I add. Now this one,
But lightly, correct?
I do it very lightly because I don't want that grid to show through. That's one
Unless-
thing. It's very unprofessional for you to have a grid that shows through. But actually, go to the Art Institute. You will see a few paintings there that you can see the artist's grid. Still, you can see through the paint. Part of me, I'm not sure, I haven't done the research, but part of me thinks is the painting is actually not finished, but it is possible they just left them there. They're beautiful paintings, but you can actually see some of that grid. I just don't think it's highly professional to do that. So when scaling up, you basically have to go through the same process on the larger piece. X plus and then diamond. Then crisscross the diamond and connect the vertical and horizontal points. That will be a great grid, as opposed to measuring an inch up and down and then trying to connect. That is more tedious and requires a lot of thinking and work. This is autopilot, and it translates easily when you scale it up. Looks like I need a bigger straight edge than my keyboard for this piece, but I don't want to belabor the point. All right, so that's the grid. How do you increase the size of your prelim to something larger? Use a grid. That's a great way. Another thing is just freehand it. Draw it bigger, okay? Just redraw it. There's nothing wrong with that. It probably won't take you long. You've already got it down. You know it. All right, the next thing I need to worry about is I'm limited on my supplies. So I went and I raided the kids' bucket of craft stuff, okay?
Doodler Scoodler says, do we have to use a grid? The answer is...
The answer is no, of course not. I mean, Doodler, you know, you literally don't have to do anything I say. I'm just giving you what I know to be true. And then suggestions, and then we'll give you opinions and thoughts, but you might have a better way, and then you might show me, and I go, oh my gosh, I never even thought of that. So, by all means, do what you need to do, right? Absolutely. We're looking for process. We're looking for craftsmanship, creativity, storytelling. The techniques I give you are just, these are suggestions. I want you to try it. I want you to figure it out. But if you have a better way than gridding, for sure, redraw it, whatever it is, and show us, right? So we can learn from you. All right, so if I'm working on a final product, I've got, it's likely I have crayons. I mean, you gotta have crayons in your house, I feel like. Or maybe it's just me because...
Your parents will probably have crayons from when you were
Your parents have crayons. Like, do you have a younger sibling? There's probably crayons around somewhere. And to be honest, if you have a crayon, use a crayon, right? Like, work with what you can. It's all about how you're going to use it. This is a ballpoint pen. This is you can do anything with a ballpoint pen.
Well, Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol did a ton of stuff with a ballpoint pen.
Tons of stuff. And then these are just cheapo.
Shout out to Lehman.
Yes, Lehman. Oh, by the way, field trip in Lehman today, I think, for art history.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm not in it, so.
These are colored pencils that are Crayola brand that, of course, we had from, at Christmas or at birthdays, you get little kits and you collect the stuff in it. Maybe we have more because I'm an art teacher.
If you're just me,
okay?
All I wanted was art things when I was 8 years old.
Yeah, I mean, gel pens. Okay, this one looks empty.
Oops.
But whatever you have, pull it out and start to figure out how it works. And so that's our objective, right? So I want to show you a couple things. Crayons can be sharpened with like a little handheld pencil sharpener.
Not a real.
Don't put it in. Don't put it in the machine one because that'll like melty and get gooed in there. But you can do it with the hand crank one, or you can take an X-Acto blade, which I don't have with me because studio transition.
The armchair general is here.
Hello, armchair. Welcome. Glad to have you here.
Or if you were a cool kid, you got the box with the sharpener.
Right, box with the sharpener. 64 colors.
Only the cool kids.
Let's see what color this is. This is, well, that's violet. Violet. I'm trying to find, is there a cool name?
Probably not.
Plum. This is plum. Plum is fun. I'm trying to find something that, this is a weird off orange that is called orange. Okay. I don't know. Okay, so the point is, if you have a crayon, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to divide my paper in two because I want to demonstrate something. Actually, let's divide it.
Tommy Gonzalez, 000 is here.
Triple zeros. Tommy boy. How you doing, bud? Hope you're good. Okay. So I'm just folding into sections so we can look at some compare contrast technique. Okay. All right. So if you use a crayon, listen. Even children know how to draw. Okay. They know how to draw well. Then you get older and you forget. So let's go back to being childlike. And kids are usually good at this, like in the ages of 6 to 8, 6 to 10 years old. But so don't use your crayons like a 4-year-old. Use your crayon like an artist, like the artist that you are. So here's what, like, if I'm a child, I'm going to use this one. I just go, what do I do to fill this? I go like this, right? I just do this. And then you're like, I'm done. No, you're not. You're not done. So let's think about it. What does it look like if I do this like an artist? Well, I come in here and I start applying and I use layers and I'm applying lightly with shorter strokes, right? I'm trying not to overblend too much. And you're like, well, I can't even see that, Mr. McCallum. Okay, just wait. Like, so then come back over it the other way. Okay, layer 2. And then, as you build and gain control over your material, move from linear strokes to circular strokes. Again, small. And you're just getting a little bit more material onto the surface. I'm telling you, doesn't matter what you use, a crayon, a colored pencil. You can still, with control and craftsmanship, get a nice result. Until finally, you're getting the darkest version of it. You can even get nice gradients. What do you guys call that again? I always forget.
Ombre.
Ombre.
But that's one color into another.
I know, but I don't. They're always like, oh, look at that ombre. I didn't grow up with that word. Ombre
you go
hair.
From like dark to light.
Let's ombre this a little bit. So now I'm gonna come back in. Man, we gotta fix the light situation.
Yeah.
The light situation is not good. I don't have any like big windows, but and the light's facing
We're also
opposite.
underground.
We're underground right now. So look at it. Little ombre overlap. It's all about layering lightly and controlling the material. Friends, that's crayon. That is crayon.
Crayon.
Crayon, as they say in the business. Now, what else do you have? You've got the ballpoint pen, right? The ballpoint pen. So, ballpoint pen, as you know, can be that. It can be line. And then we can build the line up. But look what we can do. We can start, and then we can gradiate this out. Now, I'm not even cross-hatching. I'm just using short strokes. And then eventually that just gets like
Nothing,
right? Okay. Now, in addition to that, I can do lines, and then I can crisscross or cross-hatch the line. All right? To get more value in there, I can overlap, and that adds a nice way to add a gradient or a value structure. Okay, so you can do value. Colored pencil. These are just cheap colored pencils, and the key is keep your pencils sharp. You should sharpen them. Sharpen your tool. Sharpen your pencil. Sharpen your crayons. Sharpen these.
Sharpen your skills.
Sharpen your skills, friends. Sharpen your look. Sharpen the time you get up. Sharpen. Now, it's not even a word now. Sharpen. Is that a kind of fish? Is that a seal? A sharpen?
It could be a city.
I believe I think it lives in the ocean. Sharpens live in the ocean now. Okay. So it's the same thing, right? Guys, all you need to do is control this material. Apply it in small strokes, both linear, crisscrossing the direction, and then also circular strokes. If you want to get even coverage, you have to layer lightly, but also use very small strokes. This is going to make a huge difference in your artwork.
Mia Cox is here.
Mia, hi. How are you?
She just joined us.
Now, I don't have the Crayola markers, but Crayola markers, okay?
Those are upstairs.
Those are upstairs. Applying things with clean, intentional lines or fills. Guys, the way that you add things into this, the way that you blend things together is going to make your work look professional. Now, remember, crayons are waxy, so that will resist something like paint. You can paint over pen. You can paint over ink pen. You can paint over ballpoint pen. Ballpoint pens aren't necessarily water safe. They might bleed. That's okay in some cases. It's not okay in others. Work with textures, right? So things like if you got colored pencil and you want to, work in little patches that alternate to create a fill, change direction of your line and fill like that, right? Or use little tiny circle shapes to fill so that there's some kind of texture in the work that you're doing. So think through that. Think about what textures you can create with the material and how you can build quality into the work with thoughtful finishes no matter what material you have. Maybe you can do pointillism with a Crayola marker that's all purple or all blue. There's honestly no limitations. You just have to change the way that you think about the materials. Crayons are not lowbrow. They're not. Okay? Cheap colored pencils are not lowbrow. You work with what you have and you create a piece that is full of craftsmanship, care, quality, texture, and just an appropriate application of the medium that you're using. And that takes time. It does take time. Which is why I say, in general, work smaller so that you can complete things faster. Well, listen, those are the tips I wanted to give you today. Hope you guys are doing good. I'll be back with a cooking show tomorrow. And
Dog food?
Dog food? Oh yeah, we need to talk about how do you prepare a meal that's delicious and healthy and safe for your dog. That's a good one. I got to remember that. Also, don't forget on Wednesday night I'll be drawing live on Twitch stream if you'd like to hang out with me then. And check out those videos I put into the assignment for the creative process in action. Don't watch the whole thing. One of them's like 2 hours. But also there's more videos on the Twitch stream that I'll post as examples for how to go from prelim to final and do it right. All right, guys, have a great day. Love you. Be good. See you mañana.
Bye.